Laura Branigan on the Q96.5 FM, 8 minutes after 9 o'clock as we open up the doors to the Dome on a Tuesday morning, as we always do. We always start the morning out on Tuesdays by talking about some of the schools in our area. Today, we focus in on Northwest State Community College. And Jani Tisovic is my guest today, and we're going to talk about some of the summer programs that are coming up. Jani, good to have you with us.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
It's always good. It was fun the other day. I got a chance to come over to Northwest State, and we got a chance to actually, instead of Zoom, meet one another. We got a chance to actually meet one another. That's kind of nice and unusual, isn't it? Huh?
Yes. Yeah. COVID obviously is done and over with, so we can get together in person again.
Thank goodness, man. I tell you what, it was getting to be too many Zoom meetings and telephone calls and not enough in-person conversation. So I need that, and I look forward to that. And it was really a fun day for the career day last week at Northwest.
It was, and it was very well attended. We had a lot of people that came through looking for new jobs and new careers.
You know what? And that's always the neat thing when you get over to Northwest, because it's such a great divergence of age. I mean, you've got somebody who is maybe a junior in high school, and you also have somebody who is 50 years old who's looking for a new change of pace in their life.
Yep, that's true. And now with summer camps, we have even littler kids.
How many years has it been for summer camps now, Jani?
We've been doing them since about 2015. So we've been doing them for quite a few years.
Wow.
We've expanded our program over the years. This year we have 21 new camps that we're bringing out for the kids this year. And we're, the last couple of years, we've reached down to the little kids in grades 1 through 3. And we definitely have programs for, our main focus is middle school, but we also have a few programs this year for high schoolers, especially high schoolers who are interested in esports and music.
Wow. So, and when you started, how many classes or programs were there? Do you remember? It's been a couple of years.
I think there were only 3. We had a couple of STEM camps, and then we had what they call the maker factoring camp, which, students came in and they also had a chance to go to different businesses around the community to see, what careers are out there. So those were the ones that started it. And then over the last 4 years, because we did try to have camps during the COVID season, we just had a few of those. But the last couple of years, we've been expanding and like I said, reaching out for the little kids and the medium-sized kids.
When you say little kids and medium-sized kids, what are we talking about nowadays?
The little kids are in grades 1 through 3. So we have some Lego camps, and we have a couple of creative arts writing camps for those guys. And then for the middle school kids, that's usually grades 4 through 8. We have robotics, Legos. We got a couple of new ones this year. We've got a magic camp. We have a cooking camp where kids can come in and do a little bit of cooking. Some of these are, requests that we've had from our previous campers. They're like, yeah, we would like it if you had a music camp, or if you had a cooking camp, or if you, did this and that. And so we take into consideration what the kids are asking for, and then try to find somebody who wants to put together something like that for them. And so we also have a CPR class for kids who want to get CPR trained. Our nursing department is doing a K-12 CPR course for us, so that, having anybody know how to, at least understand what CPR is, and, if they are trained on how to do it, that's always a plus for everybody. So we have that going on. We have our babysitting camp. It's a popular camp where, kids learn how to be a babysitter, how to, talk with parents, how to babysit, and how to develop their own business. So it's, that one's a pretty good camp that, kids are learning some business skills and how to communicate with people. So that's a great camp for that. So.
And you know what? I don't think you can get them started early enough on those types of skills.
Yes, that is true. So I know with our adventures on Monster Island, the kids are going to be, developing, creating a summer vacation spot for little monsters, and they're going to be they're going to be, they're going to have to work with each other on how to develop it. They're going to have to, get creative and solve problems. And those are all basic STEM skills that everybody needs to develop of, how to work together, how to think critically, how to problem solve. So that's the main focus of all of our camps, is to make sure that kids are learning how to develop those skills, because those are what is needed for the jobs of the future.
Yeah, no doubt. And I didn't chuckle about your students. I chuckled about my grandmother, who used to call me a little monster every now and then. A couple of years ago. It's been a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a way to really engage these younger folks and get them to start creative thinking. And I've always thought that a younger person like that is just like a sponge. The more good things you can put in it, the more they just suck up and the better they become.
Yes, definitely. And there's a lot of fun in all of the camps. It's not like school. So I don't want any kid to sit there and think, oh my gosh, I'm just going to go from school to school. It's, we do have a lot of fun. In our beginning robots camps, there's they build a robot, they learn how to program it, then they have challenges. We're actually taking students to a couple of our local manufacturers this year. We're traveling out to Hicksville to APT, and we're heading up to Pioneer for Pioneer Industrial Systems. That's going to let the kids have a chance to see what robots look like in action. So we have that. We have our space camp again this year. We're going to take the kids out to the Challenger Center out in Oregon, for the kids to have an opportunity to learn what it would be like in mission control and what it would be like to be on the International Space Station. That is such a cool gem that we have in our backyard. And I think we need to get more people out there to see what it's like. I've been out there a couple of times, and it is just fantastic. It's a great place to go.
You know what? I think an awful lot of folks don't realize it. Without knowing you or hearing you talk of it, I would have no idea that was there.
Yeah, it's nice that we have it in our backyard. We do have, we have a couple of NASA areas. We've got one in Cleveland and then one in Plum Station, which is over in Sandusky. And it's, I don't think people realize how much space is in our backyard for us, and we don't take advantage of, learning that kind of stuff for kids, having kids learn that kind of thing.
So is that open to the public on a regular basis, or is this something very special that you guys only have access to?
It is open, but you take school groups go in. So it is a learning, it's a place of learning. So you can take school groups go. They do have like you can do a birthday party. I've had, kids that have done robotics with me have gone out there and did a birthday party out there, because it's a lot of fun. They have an inflatable planetarium where the kids can get in there and they, see all the stars and hear the Indian stories about, how the names were created and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. It's a cool place. Like I said, it gives you a sense of what mission control is like. It gives you a sense of what being on the International Space Station is like. They have, experiments for the kids to do, that everybody has a job that they have to do in order to not, to have a successful mission. So I've been out there a couple of times, and the kids always enjoy going out there. So it's a pretty cool place.
Sounds that way. And it does sound like summer is not a summer school as you would consider it. It sounds like some very, very fun and interesting days for anybody that takes part in it.
Yes, absolutely. It's there's a lot of fun. It's, you are going to learn something, but you're also going to have a lot of fun, and you make new friends, because we have kids from all over the county that come to the camps. So we've got, Williams County, Fulton County, Henry County. We even have a couple of kids from Michigan that come down to, participate in our summer camp. So we're looking to have people from all over come in and join all of our camps. So, yeah.
When do the first camps start, Jani?
The first camps start on June 12th.
Okay.
And our camps will go through the middle of July. And each week we have, the first couple of weeks we have about 5 And then over the summer, they kind of spread out. So, if somebody misses the opportunity at the beginning of summer, there's also always some camps, as some of the other summer activities die down, we still have camps for kids to do.
Yeah. Jani Tisovic is my guest here at this point in time. We were talking about summer programs that maybe your kids would be enjoying this summer. And she's going to hang with me for a while. I need to play some music, pay some bills, get this big old machine working on this Tuesday morning. You got the Q96.5 FM. We're in the middle of the Northwest State Community College Schools program on this Tuesday morning. All right, back in the schools program with Jani Tisovic from Northwest State Community College. We're talking about the summer programs that are coming up, and we talked a little bit about the younger folks, Jani. But I know you also said that the older students and the older folks have an opportunity for some classes this summer too. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes. For the first time, we have an esports summer camp for students in grades 9 through 12. Esports is something that's growing, and you can even get college scholarships to go and play video games. So
yeah, isn't that amazing? Where were those when I was younger, right? Huh?
That would be great. Yes.
Now, back in the day, I only have one problem with that. There were no video games back when I went to Ohio University in 1972. How's that?
I don't know. Pac-Man fever was, around, and the asteroids game was something that, kids in college played.
Exactly. I don't know that they're not the same thing anymore, though. Anytime I hear about esports and everything, I chuckle the same way we just did a minute ago. And then you realize, man, there's an entire industry, an entire world that's going on around these things nowadays. That a number of folks just aren't aware of. And there are people that make quite a good living playing and watching esports nowadays.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of sponsorships and things that make it, very lucrative to learn how to play those sports, the video game sports. So they're gonna, they're going to be teaching how to do the etiquette for the matches and sportsmanship. I mean, it's more than just sitting there playing a game. You also have to work with your partners in playing the video game. So they're going to do that. I think it's kind of cool that we have a team out here. Northwest State does have an esports team that participates. A couple months ago, we had a game con kind of thing where we had people from different esports team out here competing against each other. So it is something that's growing, and it is something that, kids are interested in. So we reached out to the esports group, and they are very pleased to be putting that on for us this year. So hoping that goes, the kids, the high school kids are kind of hard to get to a summer camp, but hopefully this will be something that draws them in and, brings them out here to participate. So we've got that one. And then also for high school kids, along with any musically inclined student for between grades 5 and 12, we have the APG group up that's bringing their music back out here. Last year we had them for the first time, and we had kids who brought in their own musical instruments, and then these guys took those kids and taught them how to work with each other, create music, create lyrics, and then they put together a song and a video. And the kids that participated last year, they loved it. So we're bringing those guys back again to write music. And then we have a second camp in July where they'll actually learn how to mix music. So that was one of the things, again, when we have surveys for the campers at the end, and they fill out and they tell us what they like and what they like to see improve. We're always trying to do improvements so that the kids really get a good experience when they come out here with our camps. So mixing music was one thing that the kids who participated last year was like, yeah, I really wanted to try to do all this digital music and all that kind of stuff. So they will get a chance to do that this year.
That is amazing. It is though amazing that you guys do what you do, because as you stated in the first segment, you started with just a handful of classes for the summertime, and now you have a full summer
Yes.
for all different ages. Okay. So do the classes, they run for how long? Most of these classes run for a week, a couple of weeks, a couple of days.
There are, we have different classes, different camps. We've got some that, like our babysitting camp, that's a 2-day camp. Our first aid and CPR camp is a 1-day camp. So we kind of have, kids can either take first aid or they can take CPR, or they can take both and get a free lunch. Our robot camps are usually a 2-day camp, a full day, 2 full days. We have a few half-day camps, like music camp is 4 days of half day. We have 1 full week camp, and that is our robots and drones camp. That is based on a theme of going back to the moon. So the kids will be developing their own moon surface this year, and then they have to build and program a robot that's going to drive around on that surface that they create. And they'll have to learn how to fly their drone to pick up and drop off payloads on the lunar surface. So it's kind of getting kids interested in what's going to be happening with NASA in the next couple of years, where we're 2024, 2025, they're planning on putting somebody back on the moon so that they can start building lunar mission bases up there. So that program is done in partnership with a Northwest Educational Pipeline out in Washington State. A few years ago, they had the big Apollo mission contest, and Northwest State had a team of high school students that actually won that competition and got an opportunity to go down to Houston and tour the Johnson Space Center. So we just and they have a competition every year. So this year it just happens to be all about, going back to the moon. So we are doing that program again.
Well, how current is that though? That's fantastic. I love that, because there again, a future career for somebody who's really looking for something in aerospace. I mean, that is where we're heading down the road, and that kind of technology, to be exposed to it at this age and at this time, is a wonderful situation.
Yeah, that camp is a lot of fun. That's one that I really enjoy, because it's really neat to see the creativity of the students when, there are no, I'm not going to stand there and say, this is how you have to build something. The kids, they take the instructions and then they come up with their own idea of what it's going to look like. And it is always amazing to see how out of the box kids think, as opposed to the little box that adults think in.
I agree. Heck yeah. And you know what? We need more of that. I mean, we need it. That was the one thing I think I've been blessed with all my life, is that I've been around an awful lot of folks who just say, I don't care how crazy it sounds, just throw it out there and let's go, because some of the best ideas and some of the best things that you get involved with start that way. Well, what if we did this, or what about that? Or I think it ought to go that way. And if you open up your mind and you listen a little bit, and then you start to work with other people, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
Absolutely. And kids, they have, even sometimes they kind of look at each other like, is that really going to work? But they manage to, and they manage to put it together. They also sometimes take a little detour in trying to get something to work. And that's always interesting when a kid starts taking a detour, because you have no idea what's going to happen with that.
But some of the greatest inventions and some of the most wonderful things that we get to enjoy each and every day started that way.
Absolutely.
No matter, not necessarily in a space camp, but it could just be as simple as something you use each and every day, that somebody had that wild, crazy idea.
And the Post-it note is one good example of that, of, something was crazy and goofy, and then we came up with Post-it notes.
Yeah. And who could survive without a Post-it note still nowadays?
That is true.
Right? I agree. No doubt. So when do you have to register for these classes? Are those dates coming up?
Registration is open. We opened on April 3rd. We're a whole month early this year. We heard from a lot of parents that, sports camps are opening. So, we want to be able to get our kids into, the summer camp. So summer camps are open. You can go to northweststate.edu/camps to register. We have an online registration this year again, that seems to be becoming very successful. So we have a great group of people here who put that together for me so that we can do it that way instead of the old fashioned way of, sending in your, and using the mail system. So it is, like I said, we've been online since April 3rd. We take registrations up until 2 weeks before the camp. So we'll be taking registrations all through the summer. In case somebody, finds that their schedule opens up at the last minute, they can pretty much, as long as there's space in the camp. Some of
Yeah.
our camps are, capped off at like 12 to 15 students and campers. They're campers.
Yeah.
Student sounds like school. This is, we're campers here. We're campers.
This is camping. That's right.
This is camping. This is not.
This is summertime, man. We're not gonna,
That's right.
there's no grade cards involved. There's no notes going back to your mom. None of that kind of stuff's gonna happen, right?
Absolutely not. No, this is to have fun.
This is just to have fun. Now, you mentioned a little while ago something about food, about lunch, and a guy like me, when you say something about lunch, okay, whether the rest of it goes in one ear and out the other ear or not, when anybody says something about food, I get very intrigued. So, is there a situation where you're feeding some of these campers lunch too?
Yes, for our full day camp. So we've got some robotics camps and the space camp, and the robots and drones. If you sign up for those camps, lunch is provided, and it's a very good lunch. And then there's a couple of camps where we've got, for the first aid camp and the CPR camp, those are two separate camps, but they're on the same day. If somebody wants to hang around and then have, do the afternoon session, we'll give them lunch. And then, in July, we have a Lego Build It Camp and a Robot Fun Camp for kids in grades 3 through 4. So that's another opportunity where if the kid wants to do the camp in the morning, they can stick around. We'll feed them lunch and they can do the camp in the afternoon. So
Wow,
yeah, we have a couple of opportunities.
That sounds
And
like
it's
a lot
really
of fun
good
too.
food.
You guys always do have good food. That's the other reason why my
Yes,
ears
we
perked
do.
up.
We have great
I'm
food
like,
here.
I'm like, oh gosh, maybe I'm going to have to be a camper, or a
Absolutely.
reporter at the camp at that point in time, maybe.
There you go. Plus,
Do you-
all of our camps, we provide snacks for the students. So they have really great snacks too. Our cafeteria people do a wonderful job with our summer camps in providing great food for us.
Yeah.
So
Let's take it by the calendar, can we, just a little bit, because you said the camps start when, in June? Is that what I hear?
June 12th.
Okay.
So that first week of summer camps, we have a beginning robots camp, which is a 2-day camp. Again, we're going to be building robots. Then on the 12th and 13th, we have the Monster Island for grades 1 through 3. So they'll have an opportunity to create their own little playground area for monsters. Then on the 13th, we have the CPR and first aid camps. Babysitting ends of the week on the 14th and 15th. So anybody who's interested in, developing their business as a babysitter. Then on the 14th and 15th, we also have a Lego Build It Camp for kids in grades 1 through 2. They'll have a chance to come up with any kind of creation with Legos. And then in the afternoon, we have a Lego Masters Camp. We're going to take kind of like the Lego Masters that you see on TV where they, are given so many hours and a topic and they have to build something. Well, we're going to do that with kids in the grades 5 through 8. Those kids usually are asking me, can we just build with Legos? And so I thought about it this year and we came up with a camp idea for the kids in those grades to just build Legos, give them a theme and they can build whatever they want. It does have to have a moving part though. So that will be on June 14th and 15th. Then on June 14th, we have our magic camp. We have a gentleman in Wasion who's going to be teaching magic tricks to kids ages 10 and up. And then they'll cap that off with a performance of the skills that they all learned during the camp. And then the following week, June 20th through the 22nd or 3rd, I think, I can't remember the whole dates. We have Monster Island is back for the kids who are in grades 4 through 6. We have a hydroponics camp to teach kids how to use water to grow plants. And the kids will be able to, this is going to have a little engineering project in it where they're going to have to build their own hydroponic system. So that's that'll be an interesting camp. That's again another first for us this year to try that out. Then we will have back by popular demand. Last year we had BattleBots. We had parents and kids attend that camp. So that's an age from 11 all the way through adults. We had parents come in and build BattleBots, and then they competed with them, and that was a lot of fun. It was really cool to see the kids against the fathers. That was a really cool thing. And then esports, the following week, we have the esports camp was from June 28th and the 29th. We have the music camp going that whole week. That's a half-day camp. And we also have the robots and drones going on for that full week. So that'll be another opportunity to do drones and robots. And then in July, we take off for the holiday, and then we'll be back on July 10th and 11th for another advanced robotics camp where we'll be taking students out to one of our manufacturers. The space camp will be that week also. It's a 2-day camp. We'll be going out to the Challenger Center. And then on July 13th, we have our cooking camp. We'll be cooking up some fun. Not sure what exactly we're going to be making, because when you got kids, you have no idea what they're going to make. And then we have Lego has a new robot called the Spike, and so we're going to do a camp on teaching that particular robot. Trying to get some more kids interested in doing our first Lego League, putting together more teams in our area. We've got 3 teams right now, but we're looking to expand that. I need to get kids to learn how to do it, and I need parents to be coaches. So we're working on that. And then July 10th through the 13th, we have the mixing with the music group again. And then to end our camps this year, we have for the 3rd and 4th graders, another Lego building camp and robot fun, where the kids will be looking at all different kinds, and they'll build their own little brush bot so that they could take that home and play with robots whenever they want.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. And it sounds like another fun summer. You guys really just outdo yourself year after year after year. If someone is thinking about registering one of their kids, or if for some reason we have some of the younger folks that are listening right now, or some of the dads or moms even that are listening right now, they probably ought to get busy and get registered, because are there limits to the numbers that can be in
There are
classes?
limits, especially BattleBots is limited. So, there are some limitations. We usually have, 12 to 16 people in a class. So yeah, space is limited. So please sign up.
Yeah, no doubt. It sounds like a whole lot of fun. And again, before I let you go today, how's the easiest way for them to register, Jani?
You go on to the Northwest State website. So that's northweststate.edu and /camps. And they'll be able to go right in. They'll see a description of the camp and then a place to register. And they'll be taken into the bookstore where they'll, electronically, and then they can, register and pay for their camps right there.
And it works so well, even though it's been a learning proposition for a guy like me. How's that? But it works well. It does work extremely well.
It does. Yeah. And our people have done a great job of putting that all together so that it just flows and nobody knows that there's anything going on.
It's amazing. Jani Tisovic has been my guest here this morning. Again, thank you for all the things you guys do over there and the wonderful summer you got planned for these young folks. And again, if you're interested, or you have some kids that might be interested in the camps this summer at Northwest State, get up there, get registered now, because once you fill them up, it's over, right? There's not going to be a second class added or a third class added. There's only one opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No
Thank
doubt.
you so much.
Hey, Jani, it's always good seeing you. And again, it was good to see you in person the other day. And it's always nice talking to you on the Zoom mobile like we did here this time as well.
Right. Thank you so much, and have a good summer.
Hey, you have a good summer too. With that, we're going to head back into Classic Hits on the Q96.5 FM. I'm here till 1, just you and me, and Classic Hits on the Q96.5 FM.